up there, Marco.
That's not the right one. That is not the right one. What happened to the new one? We're here live, gang. I'll put it up while we talk. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Success Never Sleeps. That was interesting. I know I put the new intro up. We have the old intro up. That's crazy time. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Success Never Sleeps. I am Marco Mazzola from Focus Martial Arts. With me again is the other Wisdom. We're just going to call us Wisdom. And it's Jason from Believe. Hello, Jason.
Hello.
And James.
Howdy,
Hello,
everybody.
James from Resilient Martial Art. How are we doing today, guys?
If it was any better, would be you, Marco.
There it is with the proper intro. That was really strange. We'll get that fixed later. So today we're going to be talking about team building. Team building today. How's everybody feel about that?
That's awesome. I think it's a crucial part of our business. You know, you gotta have the right team in place, and you have the right people on the right seat on the bus to really advance your company and your purpose through that. And also, I think it's an excellent topic for today.
Yeah, I think so too. We dealt with a lot of that during the Wisdom Talk. I know I did. One of the great parts of the Wisdom was actually doing the team work, having the meetings, the virtual meetings with Professor, with the entire team there. I know they got a lot out of it, so that was a great experience. They're still talking about that. Like, remember that guy that we did? Are we going to do another one? Like, yeah, that guy. We're going to do another one with that guy. Like, I've been telling you his name for a couple of years now. But, you know how they could be. So hopefully we'll get back on that and do another one. We have a follow-up meeting coming up, I hear, right?
Yeah, I got that text this morning too. So
we did. Awesome. All right. So let's get into it. I got some questions with some topic points that we're going to talk about today, and we'll just kind of go through them one by one. But everybody out there, hopefully you could share the broadcast and give us your comments. We want to hear from you guys. I see Master Raymore is on. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, sir.
Bakersfield. There he is. We're going to talk about this. So if you guys have any questions or, tips and things that you do in your own schools for team building, let us know. Let's, be part of the conversation. I see some eyes in the sky up there already. So say hello and be part of the conversation. We'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Mr. Name is here. I see Bob Poole is here. Hello, Bob. Very good. Very good to see you guys. Fantastic. All right. So let's start off right away. The first one we wanted to go with was, what is the purpose of your team, right? Instructor, admin, like what is the purpose? James, I believe this is your question, right?
Yes, sir.
Who wants to start? Basically, what is the purpose of your team?
I'll start with where that question came from, because it came actually from Jason when we were doing our prep meeting yesterday. And something he said made me think that the same people we recruit for the instructor team may not be the same people we recruit for, the administrative part of our team. And you sometimes we get lucky and we get those who can do both. But sometimes it's, their talent might be in great organization and administrative stuff, event planning, organizing, and execution, or they may be, better as an instructor. Like we said, there's quite a few people we wouldn't let teach a class, regardless of their rank. It's just it's not their forte. So I think before we put them in the seat on the bus, we need to make sure that we're driving the right bus with the right seats. I love Lee Milkel. She's a consultant. She said something a year ago that she collects people. No matter where she goes, if she sees an outstanding employee or person giving customer service, she makes sure to get their name and their number. And then when the appropriate seat becomes available on her bus, she reaches out and hires that person. And I think if we did more of that, if we really took a deep look at our students, our parents and stuff, we might be able to build stronger teams, kind of like doing the draft. Send your scouts out, scout out the potential rock stars for your team. So.
Definitely. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I think James is right on that. I mean, we need to take in always be looking for for the right people on there, but taking one step back from that is we want to make sure that we have the right. We make sure that in our business we know our purpose, we know why. As always, it always has to start there. We have the systems in place to support them as well, and that's us as the business owners or CEOs or whatever label you want to put on that, but that's our job to be able to do that
as well. And that's us.
So I mean, like that's something that's super important to make sure that we have in place as we get them, because if you bring somebody on and you don't have the support there for them, it's just going to frustrate them. It's not going to be a good fit, So we want to make sure we have that, and then after we have that in place, then we start looking for that right person for that fit, right? I mean, if they're a rock star with the kids, but they don't want to take in
for that fit, right? I mean, if they're a rock star,
teach classes or something like that, but they want to interact with the kids and have a good time and play games with them and stuff like that. Well, maybe they're good for your summer camp or your parents' night out or your special events or things like that. So we want to find what drives them so that we can fulfill that purpose for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all know, not every great martial artist is a great instructor.
Right.
They can be amazing at throwing a front kick. Doesn't mean they can teach how to throw a front kick very well. They don't maybe have the personality or the patience or, the drive to want to do it, right? So we can't turn every amazing black belt into an amazing instructor, no matter how much we want them to be, So it's sort of it can be a needle in a haystack, trying to find that number one, that second in command, that one that's going to be, has the vision you have to move forward and move the business up, to build, and because that person's going to help you build the rest of the team, right? It's very hard, as we know, to be a one-person island, out there, trying to get the whole team together, plus run the business, plus do all the events and things like that. So a team is obviously necessary, but an amazing team that we've built from the ground up. So my question was, what do you feel the sort of the benefits and of bringing somebody up from within or from hiring from outside? That's a tough one, right? Sometimes there just isn't currently, right? You need somebody, but there isn't currently somebody maybe who's old enough or ready yet, but you need somebody to support. You know what I mean?
I think that goes back to going back to knowing your purpose, making sure you have it clearly defined, because there may be somebody that's on the outside that can come in and fit your culture, fit your purpose, that can help you on that. And again, it depends upon what all they're doing too, right?
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I think there's benefits to both sides. My team, 2 out of the 3 on my team are what we would say is homegrown. They started with me. They grew up in the school with me. But my third team member there, she came from another style, got her black belt there, and started over with us. So essentially, she was kind of homegrown. She went through our program, and also, she's got a lot of past experience that helps her out a lot as well too. But I mean, I can see both sides of the coin on that.
Right. As the professor said, she didn't buy into the culture. She believes in the culture of the school. Right.
Exactly.
She owns it. She lives it every day. So yeah, and it's quite an amazing team. We got the fortunate, chance to meet them in its time. It was really great hanging out with everybody, get to know them. I hear about them all the time. We see them in the background sometimes, so in the pictures. So it was nice to get to know them. So that's awesome. So I apologize for my voice. I've been coughing for like 3 weeks straight. It's just starting to get better. So I sound like I've been, smoking for 60 years. Yet I've never in my life ever smoked. So I apologize if it sounds a little gruff today. All right. So the next one I wanted to talk about was how can you, best serve your team so they can best serve your students? Like, what are your methods? So I see Master Raymore said something. I want to kind of quickly show that. He's taking his team to the KBBQ. He was in Halloween Horror Nights this Saturday, spending a whole day with them. And he's very excited about it. So he's doing a little team building exercise outside of the school, right? Obviously, that's a big way. We've done that before. I've had like the main core team over to my house and cook them dinner, you know what I mean? Things like that. And, they love that. They want to do that again, things like that. So what are your methods? Now, who wants to go first?
Since Jason went last time, I'll go this one.
All right.
So I think, and I got to blame Jason again too for kind of opening my eyes yesterday. We were talking about this. Every person who wants to be on our team in a instructor administrative part, not as a student, because they're still part of our team, but they all have different needs and they all want to do it for different reasons. So is it doing it because they enjoy sharing and improving and want to, impact lives like theirs have been done? Is it for they need to improve their communication skills, their leadership management skills? Do they just need it to look good on a college resume or a job resume? And I think the more time we spend on the front end, sitting down and finding out why they want to be part of the A team, basically, then we can put them in the better position that's going to fulfill those needs. Because if someone just wants it for, I don't know, if they want it because they want organizational and time management skills, then maybe out on the floor isn't the place to start them. Maybe it's, the administrative stuff, organizing and teaching them the administrative part. But if it's about, hey, I want to learn how to manage people and I want to learn how to positively impact their lives, then maybe that's out on the floor. So I think spending more time up front, finding out their why, we can serve them better that way.
Yeah, I agree with that completely because, and I think one of the big things, just like Master Raymore was sharing there, is that, doing these events or these outings, that's super important. And it really depends upon the culture of your school, right? For us, we really don't go out and do an outing or something special. Like we may go grab lunch together or something like that. But one of the big things that my team sees is that whenever I invest in something, like whenever I invested in wisdom, even though I was the primary beneficiary of that, because I got to spend all that time with Brandon doing all of that work, they were too. They got to experience that too on there. So it may be them, and they've come to me, hey, I saw this event and I think it'd be really great. And I tell them, so, okay, well, bring me the information. Tell me how it fits into our culture and purpose, or what you're looking to get out of it and how you would apply it for us. And let's have a conversation about that. And if they come back to me with good reason for it, I have no problem, paying their entryway into that, or they've been some of them that they paid their way into some of them. And I just, whenever they brought it back, I'm like, oh, I owe you your entry fee for that. So, there's tons of different ways to help build up our team. But I think one of the main things is they need to see us growing as the owner, the CEO. They need to see us growing, and that we're not doing it just for us. We're bringing them along with us.
Yeah.
So it may be taking them to. It's kind of a humble brag on it. I'm grateful I got to bring my entire team out to It's Time. Like, it's been life-changing for them, for me, for our business. So, I think little things like that, I think it's crucial to give back that. And the other side to it is for me is I told my team, like, hey, we got lives outside of the school. I've got 3 young kids. There's going to be a lot of times that I need off because I need to be there for my family. And they're grateful to support me in that and cover for me, as well as just like yesterday was Ashton. He's my number 2 guy, my partner in the business pretty much. Yesterday was his anniversary. He came in and worked a little bit. I saw the opportunity to send him home early. I sent him home early. Hey, you go home. Go spend your anniversary with your wife. So it's little things like that, giving them their birthdays off, or giving them the weekend they need off to go celebrate it with their friends, giving them special time off, like, different things like that, and really working with their schedule outside of the business, I think goes a long way and really creates a true relationship within your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Showing that you're loyal to them, they'll be loyal to you. You're loyal to their needs and what they need to do outside of the school. Yeah. We've had very similar situations. One of my number 2 is still in college. So we had to shift her schedule completely to match her classes and things like that. So yeah, it was very important. It just happened to work out that the other instructors had to switch as well. So luckily it worked out, but if it didn't, we would, take up the slack and do what we have to do to support them. I'd rather say yes more often than I say no. Right. Because then I know that I'm building a relationship with them to let them know that I'm behind you. And I know you have other stuff going on. This isn't, this isn't everything every day. You're not here all day, every day like I am. You come in, you love it here, you do your work, you do great work, but then you have to go home and be with your families or your friends or go out to a concert here and there.
Yep.
Go on vacations. We're working towards that. We're working towards, paid vacations and things like that. So, so I was just looking at the comments. So Master Raymore asked, one, how often do you go out with your team outside of the studio? And two, do you have your teams on salaries? So, I mean, basically, yeah, I mean, we pay our team, and we pay them hourly. But if there's anything that needs to be done, they get paid. So if there's a instructor meeting, they get paid for it. And anytime they're here and they're in a work capacity, they're getting paid for it. Right? Their time is valuable, just like mine is. They need to get paid for their time. I'm sure you guys do the same thing. I did it for years, working for instructors for free, cleaning, teaching, all that kind of nonsense. Right? And I'm still paying my full membership price at the same time. Those days are long gone. Thank God. Those days are gone.
To really answer that question for Master Raymore is, there's different ways to do it. Definitely paying your team, paying them well, paying them for their time that they're supposed to be there, that you need them to be there. We don't really go out too much because I really value my team's time on there. There may be a day that we may be doing a full day workshop that we've kind of put together and doing a bunch of stuff during the day. So I'll take them all out to eat for lunch because we're there around that time. And I say, hey, let's go take a break. Let's just go chill and go grab lunch. But it's never a planned, orchestrated thing because I feel like if it's planned, it kind of takes away from some of the value of just being in the moment with them on there. There's nothing wrong with planning them out and making sure you keep that contact with them. But I really like Brandon's way of talking about it. Instead of doing a meeting with them, let's just do these little power holes and be in the moment with them and kind of go through that process that way with them. And I tell you, like my team will go to bat for me, and they have, and so I mean, like again, I think it depends upon your culture.
Yeah.
On there with it. But also, I think if they see you fighting for them, they'll fight for you.
Absolutely. We do both.
Because
we do both. We do power meetings, but then we do instructor classes twice a month. Where they're doing our role playing, things like that, where they're learning specific skills, and we're taking on new kids and things that want to help teach. But we were talking about that earlier. We don't just throw them into the fire. They have to do a few teaching classes before we allow them to step on the mats. It's even for our excellent kids, our young program, they have to be, learn what their role is, understand what's expected of them, and do some practice with the instructors, pretending, we're doing a class, so they know what their job is. So they're not just wandering around the mats. We would run into issues before where, two instructors, younger guys who really love the teaching part are standing next to one kid and their parent. I mean, there's other kids that need help. We don't need, two instructors on one kid. So we're working like that triangle thing that we were talking about that we saw Professor's team do. Right around it's time. Everyone, somebody moves, the whole team rotates with them. So there's not a clump in one area. It works out really well. But for us, we have to do those instructor meetings to get them there. Again, it's twice a month. We expect them to make one because we basically duplicate what we do because we have such a large group of younger guys and girls that are in that program that love to help teach, especially the little kids class. So we can't expect them all to make the same Friday night. If we only hold it once a month, it's really not that convenient for them. So we're looking at a way to make it more often and switch up our black belt classes to be every week, as well as our instructor class to have an option for it every week. So they can come in and work on the same thing pretty much all month. Just drill it, just like you do a drill for a kata or a technique, right? You drill. You want to drill just the greeting when somebody comes in, saying hello, taking their name, helping them with the belt tie. We do belt tying contests amongst the instructors because they're expected to tie the belts for the little kids. Went to a youth program, we teach you how to do it. So then the instructors have to be able to teach how to tie the belt, right? So people can teach them how to do it. So that's a whole fun thing we do with them. We try to make everything fun during instructor meeting. We make little contests and things like that where they can win whether it be kids with life skill badges or something, when they win their contest, if they're the fastest belt tire, then they'll win something for it. We try to make it an experience, even for an instructor meeting. So it's not just we're in the meeting for an hour with Shihan. We have to do this. It should still be a fun experience. They're going to get more out of it if they're quote unquote playing while they're learning.
Right. And I mean, yeah, definitely, because we hold ours. We do it like a class every Friday night. So I mean, if they can't make it, they can't make it. It's fine. We're making sure that we're being consistent with it, as far as like with their training, and that's pretty much how you teach and things like that. But see, there's Ashton right there. But yeah, I mean, we do that, and to answer Master Raymore's question as far as like teams on salary and stuff like that, I have Ashton on salary, but that's just that's at the level he's at right now. His next step is partnership with me, buying into the business and being a full-fledged partner with me. But the rest of my team is hourly and all that. And, a lot of, I got some friends in the martial arts industry that they kind of abuse that salary option.
Yeah.
And I make sure that we're very clear on what that means. Is just because he's salary doesn't mean he works 80, 90 hours a week. He's still, matter of fact, if I can keep him under 40 hours a week and he's working kind of a part-time hours and getting paid really, really well, then his hourly rate goes up.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that, because even with my youngest team member, she's 17, a senior in high school, and she gets paid way better than any of her friends in high school at their job. She's got way better hours, a lot more flexibility in it. She's got 401k. She's got all this set up, ready to go, for her. So she's in a lot better position than a lot of 17-year-olds with other jobs.
How many 17-year-olds have a 401k?
Exactly.
Seriously.
She's all set. She's all set. She even got that was one of the benefits. How many 17-year-olds can say that they sat down with Sam On,
right?
A millionaire, and got advice and is set for as she continues to go along her journey.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
right side of my head still hurts from that meeting.
Yeah, mine too. I found the little card he gave me, and I'm going, oh.
Yeah, nice. So, Master Raymore asked a question: How do you manage private lessons for your teams? I'm guessing you mean like in terms of if they're going to be private lesson for another student, then that runs the gamut. I know there's a lot of different theories of like, all right, if you're going to take on a private lesson, we charge X amount for the private lesson. The school gets 10%, you get the rest. It depends. I mean, you could run it as just that's their salary. That's part of it. If they want to take on the private lesson, they get paid for the half hour, 45 hour that they're there. Obviously there's a lot of different ways to run it. Do you guys do anything like that in your schools? We actually don't have private lessons right now, so I'm out of that conversation.
Well, we have in the past, and it's a tiered pricing. I mean, if they want to come get a private lesson from me, I charge appropriately for my time. But if you want to come get a private lesson from one of our, Rockstar brown belt instructors or the black belts, then it's a different. And we've always split it 50-50.
Yeah.
Because, there's wear and tear, there's electricity, there's, we got to pay our insurance and everything like that. And so I think a 50-50 split, because of what we charge, is fair. But if we're just doing like a quick little 15-minute, hey, let me get you caught back up, I saw you're having difficulty, we don't charge for those lessons. But when people want to come in and spend an hour or a half hour at a time, I value my team's time, and I think they deserve to be paid for it. If it's during their regular hours, I still compensate them for them, but we try to set them up outside of their regular hours. And, the private lessons are a lot more lucrative for them than, just their straight hourly wage or salary rate.
Right.
But we do discourage them. I really don't want to get into doing that, because it can really go south fast.
We as far, I mean, we don't have too many private lessons. I mean, we do a lot of the 15-minute like virtual privates, or my team may comp a private to help out a student, that kind of thing. But they get if they do a private lesson, they get the full amount on it. I don't take anything from that. They just make sure that they are serving really, really well, because I told them, our belief is that we want them to be successful no matter what we're doing, no matter if it's in class, if it's in a private lesson, anything like that. So if it's, as far as, the question Master Raymore's asking, if it's a private lesson that they're running, they get the full amount from it. They're the ones that's working with that student. The only thing I ask them is to make sure that the experience is still there, of the level that we expect on there with it. That's number one, to make sure that we're elevating that experience for the student to help them be successful, wherever they're at in the process. Now, if he's talking about as far as like a private lesson that like my team needs a private lesson, like for me, they have like unfiltered access to me.
Right. Yeah.
They have we had a parent, because my kids take classes now, and two of my three kids take classes now, and my daughter just got her yellow belt, and one of the moms go, oh, well, she's got a little advantage over everybody. She's got the head instructor, the highest rank, the owner at home at will and evening. I'm like, yeah, she kind of does, but my team has that same access.
Right.
Like if they need something, hey, Mr. Smith, can you come help me out with this? Da, 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 da. And we go through it. And there are times like, I mean, I'll train with Brandon whenever we're doing going over. I pay for private lessons with him, and if he gives me those little golden nuggets in there, I shoot out of that room and share it with my team as soon as I see them. Hey, this is what we did. Da, 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 da. So they're constantly getting that update and that information as well too. So depending upon which way he was kind of asking that question, I want to kind of cover both sides of that.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right. So this is, I like this question. This is a really important question that Professor talks about all the time. Do you have a path of advancement for your team? Do they have a clear path from when they start, and how does that work? Right? Is you need some sort of way to motivate them to go, you're not just going to be stuck at minimum wage forever. Like this is where, where you're going to get to.
Yeah. Well, I'll take that one. We are actually, after, looking at professors, and we've been using that as a guideline, because, like you says, it's right there on the disruptors page. If you're not going in there and looking at all those files, I'll just say it, you're missing the boat. I was going to say it in a more blunt way, but Monique would probably check me on that.
She's not here today, so you got to keep it clean.
But she's watching. So.
That's right.
But and we're mind mapping it out, just like I have to do so it makes sense to me. Is what is our ultimate goal, and at what stage do we want them to learn, and do we want them just to be a greeter, an assistant, or do we want to be able to take them on a path and show them clearly that this is how you can own your own school? We can partner with you, and it takes this stage first, this stage, and so that's what we're mapping out, because there's so many different responsibilities and skills that have to be developed, and not everybody wants to do what we do for a career. A lot of people just want to, while they're here, my senior black belt, I've tried to put him on the payroll, and he's like, nah, Sensei, I want to come teach when I want to come teach. And, if I've got other things going on, I don't want to be obligated to come teach, which is wonderful because he's an awesome instructor. But it makes it difficult for me to plan what I'm going to do. I
was going to ask that. Yeah.
And so I think if you're going to have staff members, they have to be paid. And how you decide to pay them, I mean, that's a conversation you need to have with yourself or with your accountant. But at the same time, I think it's important to show them, and then that should be decided and explained in that pre-meeting we were talking about. Yeah. What is the stage? What do you want to get out of this? Do you want to own your own school and partner with us, or do you just want to do this till you go off to college? So,
yeah, I think you got to have that path through to let them see. You don't, if they feel like they're maxed out where they're at and they're just instructing on the floor, then yeah, eventually they're going to leave. They're going to leave. They can't move up any further. They're kind of stuck. You know, you don't want them to have that feeling. You want them to be able to grow and become better through all that. So I think having that path set up to where, hey, yeah, you're coming in and you're starting out with this many classes a week, but eventually you can move up and be teaching all the classes, or, you know, running special events, and you know, the more tools you put on your tool belt that you know how to do and use and move through and understand the business as a whole, then that's that opportunity that we have to grow, to be better on there, right? Like my team knows, I personally don't want any more locations. I'm happy with one. I'm good. But they want to have their own location. They don't want to do it by themselves. They want to be a partner. So for that, I will open up as many locations as we need, as long as we are putting in the work and we're doing it the right way on there. So if they see that path, it's like, hey, Mr. Smith is willing to step out on a limb for us. I mean, even my 17-year-old that is planning to go to college, she wants to come back and open up a location whenever she gets done with college. Yeah. And we had a nice talk on the way back from It's Time, because her parents went out with us, and her mom asked me, she's like, hey, if this is something she wants to do, will she have to do it on her own? I said, absolutely not. Unless she wants to do it on her own, I am there in her corner. She's got me as a partner whenever she's ready to open up that business. Whenever she's ready to open up that location, I am 100% a partner with her whenever she's ready to do that, if that's what she chooses. And I think them being able to see that path to having that level of success is crucial, because then they know that they can keep growing and they can keep, moving forward, and then they don't ever have that feeling of being stuck.
Right.
I want to add to that, Jason, because I've had two of my black belts go and open their own schools. One's closed because he moved down to Georgia, followed his passion of music ministry, and the other one, it was in a divorce, it got closed. But they both came to me and wanted to open under our brand. And I sat down, I says, it's a huge honor. I can't tell you, I'm very humbled by that. But here's the conditions. I have to protect the brand. And if you're not willing to, agree to this, where if there's a morality clause, you violate it, I take full ownership of the school, because we have to protect the brand. Now, if you don't want to go that way, I'll open my books and my file cabinets and everything, and I'll help you the best I can to run the best school you can run under your own brand. But if you want to run under my brand, understand there are conditions to it, because we have to protect our investment and everything we put into it, the 20, 30, 40, 50 years plus that's gone into developing the brand. So I like to give them both options and let them know that we're here to support them, because they're still part of the family, whether they're flying our flag or not.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one of the things my team knows, is they know whichever way they decide, I'm going to be there in their corner to help them out. We have that much of a relationship to where if one of them came to me tomorrow, hey, I want to do my own thing, open up my own school, my own brand, my own curriculum, everything. Okay. I'm a resource. You have resources that you've made through me that are open to you. Make sure you reach out. You're not on that island, like Marco was saying earlier. Yeah. You never want anybody to feel like they're on that island.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. We have a couple of students right now who expressed recently to me that they want to open up a more focused martial arts locations. So we're very humbled and blessed by that. And one was not a shock. The other one's a complete shock that this person wanted to do it. So, they have many years before that will happen. We have to get our main location running, 100% to where we want it to be. And then we can think about where they're going to be. They still have to get through college. So, that's going to take time. That'll take time. But we're excited about that. And we told them, and eventually we'll have that, serious conversation with their parents and whoever needs to be in that conversation. Is that, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And like James said, we got to protect the brand. This is our systems. You got to follow the systems. We're here. We're going to be talking constantly. I'll be bouncing through each location to make sure they're all running the way a focused martial arts should run. You know what I mean? But again, I would feel the same way if one of them said, no, I want to open up XYZ karate. Then, okay. Then, like you said, Jason, I'm here. Here's our systems. Here's the thing. This is what we did. This is how we did it. We were here, so you know the systems because you did them. You ran them. You worked them, So go with it. I'll help you every step of the way. So yeah, it's a humbling thing when that happens and somebody's like, yeah, I want to open up. Whether it's under your brand or their own brand, it's still pretty cool. It's pretty humbling. Like you affected them and created that career path for them, to see that they have an option to do this with their life. I said the one that was not a shock. I know this kid. She, if I nuked the building, she'd be in the ashes. Like, we're still training today, right? We still have class at 4:15, right? Like, the building is gone. So that's all right. We'll sweep and we'll train. It's fine.
Yeah, find an open area there.
Yeah, we'll find something. So that's awesome. All right, take a break for a real quick second and cover our sponsors. Let's see. We have, of course, we're brought to you by Market Muscles, simply the best in website design. Steven and the gang, we've been working with them for years. We love our Market Muscles site. I was flabbergasted. I've done web design in the past, and when they revamped everybody's website for free and gave like everybody, they're probably still working on it, I'd imagine, because it's a big undertaking, to redo everybody's website one at a time. That's incredible. Like, that shows you the merit of a company, of its people that work there, that they're going to take on. Most places will charge you. We have our new 3.0. Do you want it? All right, there's an installation fee or a processing fee to get the guys to flip over your website. And if the fact that they took it on their own and did it, that was pretty cool. My Studio, of course. We use My Studio. It's our CRM software. We've been using it now a couple of years. I have liked watching them grow from what they were to where they are now. One of the benefits I love about My Studio, and a lot of other CRMs do this, but I like My Studio's version. I like their custom app. I love their custom app. To have your own branded app. So if you currently use My Studio and you don't have the app branded to yourself, I'd recommend it. Like, I really would. And I know it costs a little bit more money to get them to do it. But when a customer goes to you like, holy crap, you have your own app, it has your logo on it. They're like, really? That's amazing. And it feels pretty cool and really adds to your brand. You're not just using the logo of the My Studio logo on the app that they're searching for. They can go find your logo on their phone. That's pretty cool. I find that to be really cool. Kids Love Life Skills. We can all say how much we love Kids Love Life Skills. I've been using it for years now. Jason, you too. And James, when did you start using Kids Love Life Skills?
I think it was like last January. So we've almost been on board for no. It was actually right after the pandemic, when we could open back up.
Right.
We jumped on it because we were going into public school systems for summer programs, and it was a huge thing to keep the kids in line and focused. I never knew how powerful it was there.
Yeah.
And then here we're still tweaking it to get it to work for us, because I know we all work it different in our schools.
Yeah.
But we follow the same basic principles. Mm-hmm. And every month we're like, okay, how can we tweak it and make it better? What are we doing? What are our challenges with it?
Yeah.
But we're partnering now. We're doing a lot more with nonprofit organizations and governmental organizations. And when I add in the Kids Love Life Skills character development and tell them, the life skills kids learn today are the successful habits of adults tomorrow, they're like, wow, that's exactly what we're looking for in the community. And it's really closes and seals the deal right there when we throw the Kids Love Life Skills onto it.
Absolutely. 100%. And of course, last but not least is LC Accounting. Letitia, one of the best bookkeepers in the game, one of the toughest. She's no nonsense. She will keep you on straight. She tries to keep me straight. I don't know.
Just remember, she can choke you out too.
I know she's got a couple extra gray hairs. I know they're mine. I know I gave to her. I feel bad, but she's amazing. She's incredible. I've had bookkeepers in the past that, it never was a fit. And Letitia treats you like family. She really does. You get on board with her. She's going to be in your pocket. Helps you. I mean, we would have had a much tougher challenge through the pandemic if we didn't have Letitia in our corner helping us get the PPPs and the things that we were able to get, and her just going to town, ripping through our stuff and putting it out there and getting us the loans and things that we needed to make it through. So all the credit to her. Honestly, she's amazing. So if you need a bookkeeper, call Letitia. She'll stretch you straight.
I want to throw something there for Letitia. A shout out. My books are all screwed up. My bookkeeper died from throat cancer a few years ago, and the taxes in the books and everything just went array for a while. And that's one of the things that really causes me anxiety. And Letitia is so patient and so understanding and very detailed in what she does and explains. And she gives you tasks that you can accomplish. And I'll tell you, I'm super, super grateful that, Professor introduced me to her, and that it's a huge relief, because you don't want the IRS coming after you.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want.
That's the last thing you need.
And
she is very detail oriented. I'm not when it comes to money, unfortunately. Yeah. And with her help, I've gotten better. Yeah. It's a joke with my wife. She's like, we look at the bank account, and I'm like, oh my God, we only have this. She's like, no, look at it again. You spent 200. It's not there. You're taking off 2,000. Like, add a zero, you knucklehead. So thank God for Letitia. She's like, she feels for my wife and what she has to deal with when it comes to that. I'm super detail oriented. When it comes to money, I'm trying to get better every day. I'm trying to get better. So thank God I have Letitia. All right, back to it. I saw another comment I wanted to look at from Master Ray Morgan. He's been amazing with the questions today. Thank you, sir. Have you had to ask someone to step down from their leadership role? So James is nodding. We'll go with James. He's nodding his head.
I did, and I applied something I'd learned years ago. First, let me recommend a book called The 1 Minute Manager by Kenneth Blanchard. Probably the best management book in the world I have ever read, and the one I have implemented the most. With that being said, I had picked up one time in a class I was in that if you have a problem with an employee, I gave them a day off, sent them home, had to write a letter about what the disciplinary problem was, what the actions would be if this occurred again. And they came back, and the next day with nothing written, they're like, oh, you were serious about that? I was like, absolutely. You've made the decision now not to maintain that position because you've shown to me that it's not important. And so I put that ball back in their court, still tried to work through them, tried to coach it, tried to talk to them, tried to, but that last thing was, okay, here's our problem. Here's the situation. Go home, think about it. You bring me back the solution. So I took the monkey off my back, put it on theirs. They brought it back, and I'm like, yeah, well, this monkey's just not in our circus anymore. You're welcome to train, but we all know how that goes. They stuck around for a couple of months, and then they left.
Yeah. So it is tough. It absolutely is tough. But you can't be afraid either. If you're losing the instructor to lose a student, because that can happen. It probably will. But no, you're absolutely right. Like it has to be, there has to be clear guidelines. The systems are in place. The biggest thing people have a problem with is not knowing what's expected of them. So if they're not expected, if there's aren't rules in place, people always talk about like, well, what's the rules with cell phones? What's the rules with this? What's the rules on there? And you have to do what fits your culture. Where I'm not here to tell you what you should do and how you should order them on their cell phones, where they put it away, hold on to it, things like that. Whatever fits your culture, but make it clear. Make it super clear when they're hired. This is what we expect. These are the quote unquote rules. And this is why, because I'm a big on why, right? I'm not just laying down a rule. I'm going to tell you why it's like that. And as we always say, it goes back to our culture and the why of the business, the why of the school. If it's, we have our instructors leave their cell phones in the office, but they can go back in between classes and check them. I have no struggle with that. As long as the customers are being serviced, right? Everybody's got their handouts that they need. Everybody's been checked in and said they've given them a goodbye. They can do a quick check on their cell phone. I don't have a struggle with that. I don't want them in their pockets because they'll be going off and doing whatever, and it's distracting. It's taking away from their job performance. But, they don't have to lock them up somewhere. They stick them in the office. It's fine, right? But but they knew why. I told them why that's the way it is, right? Because we want best service out there on the floor without cell phone distractions. The only time I even take mine out of the office is if I'm doing a video. I'm going to shoot some video. Otherwise, mine stays in the office so that I'm, even though I probably get a zillion phone calls a day, if I'm teaching a class, if I'm out there serving the customers, I'm out there serving the customers, and the phone call can wait. The phone call can wait. You know what I mean? So I'm leading by that example. I don't keep my cell phone and get to play with it all day if you can't. So you got to lead. You lead by example. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had to ask anybody to. We came close to it, but that was as we were rebranding and figuring out our culture, and it kind of organically just kind of happened for us because we were growing in the direction that we felt we needed to move in, that as we discovered who we were as a company and as a business, that's where you're going to find those points to where people are like, no, I'm comfy here, I don't want to go there. And then they kind of create that out for themselves pretty much. So that's what kind of happened with us. Really great instructor, great leader, but just was not willing to move in the direction that was best for the company, for our students and everything like that. And also, yeah, I mean, like we've had that happen. And I think, exactly what you said, Marco, was having those systems in place, having, that structure there so that they know what's expected in every step of the way. What am I doing? Am I just teaching classes or what's going on? But if I give them, every step that they need, and there's no way they can misstep on something, then they know exactly what's expected of them during that time, and they'll do a better job on it as well. So I mean, like it's kind of twofold with that. Either you may weed some out, you may lose some as that happens, but you may really find a diamond in the rough at that point too. You may find that one person that needs that. Again, I'll go back to my team. I'll speak from example. Rebecca, that's on my team, she's told me, she goes, I need that structure. I need you to tell me exactly what you want me to do, what I need to do. Now, Ashton, I can go, hey, I need you to do A, B, C, and he'll figure out D, E, F, G on his way and all that. But Rebecca says, no, I need it A through Z lined out for me, and I will execute. Perfect. And I think that's part of it too, is with your team, is how are you communicating with them? Yeah. Do you understand their version of communication? Because if we're communicating with them the way they understand, there's no miscommunication. Right. And I'll give the example here. We had a meeting with our team. It was for some summer camp. It was two people that were summer camp help, and we were actually going to ask them to stay on for our after school program. Well, we were messaging back and forth about the meeting, time, date, what you needed to bring. Breakfast was provided because it was an early morning kind of thing. And everybody had said something. And I just responded with, okay. The letters, okay. All right. Yeah, I think I've told both of y'all this story. But they came in, these are young teenagers. They were terrified. This was their first job. They thought the whole meeting they were getting fired. And because I asked them after, I said, y'all were so quiet. Why didn't you, have some, give me some feedback, give me some input. Let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. They go, we didn't want to say anything because we thought we were getting fired today. I'm like, why? They said, because whenever we responded with K. So it was just real quick. I just hit K. They said, we thought you were mad at us. I'm like, why? I said, because if you put K, it means that you're mad. If it's okay, you're a little frustrated. But if you type out okay, everything is okay. It's all right. I'm going, I had no clue with that. I didn't grow up in the tech.
I had no idea either.
So I apologized to them. I'm like, no, I love you guys on the team. Matter of fact, I want to offer you an extended job, not just summertime. Let's go all year. So making sure you're communicating the way they understand it. And I think that's one of the things that even working with Brandon in that mentorship role is whenever he's talking with you, he wants to make sure that you understand it. So even having us do this, having us fill in for him, it's making sure that we understand what he's teaching us so that we can do it ourselves, So, I mean, like, we need to do that for our team. We need to make sure that whenever we're teaching them something or we're trying to help them be better, live their purpose, that they're understanding the communication. So having them repeat it back to us or teach it to us or teach it to somebody else is a crucial thing.
Absolutely. All right. All right, let's see. We have about 7 minutes left, so we got time for at least one or two more questions. Just checking the comments. All right, we're good. So how do you delegate to your team? Like, what kind of methods do you use? So we're talking about communicating. What kind of communications do you use? Do you guys use email a lot? Do you use Slack? We talked about the quick little powwow meetings. What is your main, version of communication with your team?
Well, mine, because it's just really basically me and Chewy, and we have a couple of young kids that are helping us as classes. It's usually just verbal communication. Hey, Chewy, we need to get this done, or we need to get that done, and real quick, and with the other kids. But as my technical challenges, from on our group chat here today,
James wants a video with us. That's nice.
was Chewy's actually telling me, it's like postcards are dead. To an 8-year-old, yeah, okay, but to put it on a social media post or something. So the electronic style of communication seems to be a lot more effective, so long as we know how to communicate electronically, not just type in K. So,
right.
I think that's what we're going to move towards. And also, it leaves that paper trail. So if there's that doubt that it didn't get communicated or something, you can always go back and pull it up and say, yeah, it did right here.
Yeah. So what happens when you do that? Okay, we've agreed upon this. This is what we're going to do. Here's our communication style. Everybody's on board. They don't get it. Like, for example, we use Homebase to do our scheduler for our staff. And so there's a texting feature. So they all have the app on their phone because they're supposed to check. All right, he's posted the schedule for this week, next week, whatever it is. Here it is. They don't check it. And it was, and it wasn't necessarily like we do a workshop every other Sunday, right? And sometimes you have to keep that in your head. Is this the Sunday? Is this the workshop? Is this the workshop? We have it plastered, but you check the schedule. Like, oh, this is Sunday is workshop. That's right. Sometimes I might have to shift. This Sunday's workshop. Oh, I didn't know that. Did you check Homebase? When it posted the schedule, it sent you a notification, or I texted you through Homebase. Did you get it? No, I didn't look at it. I didn't have my phone. At that point, what do you do? I know what I do. What do you do?
Well, I think you got to go back to, since we lost Jason there, I'll answer that for you. I think you got to go back to anything you would in a business or corporate setting is, once it's a verbal, twice it's a written, 3 strikes, you're out, because apparently they're not making it a priority.
Yeah.
And it's not important to them like it is to us.
So I'll backtrack it one more, though. We'll go through another set of training on it. That makes any sense? So, like, all right, so something's falling apart. Some part of link in the chain is missing here. You're not checking Homebase regularly. How do we support you to make sure you're doing that? Is there, what challenge? And it can come down to, because I've had this, what kind of challenges it is for you to remember to plug in your phone at night, so that when you wake up in the morning, your phone's charged and you don't have a dead phone all day and you can't check your messages. Like, what can I do to help? So, and you would think, like, especially with like teenagers, like, we're all really programmed to plug in our crap every night. Like, you get your stuff all the time. I feel like a Green Lantern. We're always having to power the ring with a stupid lantern. Like, we all, you're a teenager, don't you know just to plug in your phone? I understand how my 68, 69-year-old mother forgets to plug in her phone. It's just sitting in her purse. She didn't grow up with this stuff. But you grew up with all this technology. How do you forget to plug in your phone at night? But you don't want to come down on them. You don't want to beat them up. So how do you support them and say, okay, what are we going to do to make sure you plug in that phone every night? So you're charged and ready to go for the next day. Half the time they come in like, I can't clock in. Can you clock in for me? My phone's dead.
You give them one of those charging stations. All they got to do is set their phone on top of it.
Yeah,
No plug in or nothing. Just set it down here every night.
absolutely. Because I'll have like the challenges, because again, a lot of them are teenagers where their parents have taken their phone away because they did something they weren't supposed to do. All right, I get it, but they need that. They need that for their job. But I can't parent the parent. It's not my job to teach the parent what to do with their kid or how to discipline their kid. If they felt they need to take the phone away, this parent's right. They're the ones who are probably paying for it anyway. So,
Well, I think it goes back to, because we've heard Brandon say it a lot of times, is make sure we're marketing to 70 ways to 70 people. I think it's the same thing with our communication with our team. Is make sure we're communicating 70 ways to them as well, so that way it's just a constant reminder or a constant drip of them being, knowing what's going on. And also, do you have a Facebook group? Do you use, we use Slack. So you use Slack, we've all got each other's cell phones. So, you can send a quick text to an individual if you need to, any of those ways. So there's multiple ways, a phone call, talking in person. Like, there's so many different ways to do it. Are we making sure that we're doing it in all of those ways to make sure that we stay in contact with them?
Yeah. But I think, like, verbally, and you know how you could tell a teenager something like that, by the time they hit the front door, they forgot what you said. Because like you said, it was never not as important as you wanted it to be for them, but they're not making it important. The other problem is, but what you're saying, like the technology wise, the Slack, the text, the phone call, all goes away when the parent takes away the phone. And now you're stuck with nothing left. So we got to find a way to do that. So I'm not trying to complain about it. What I'm saying is, how do we do that? We got to find that support, right? Because we want them to be successful at being able to do their job and being on time and being able to do everything they need to do. We got to figure a way that's our job, right? That's our job to help them do that.
In that specific situation, if a parent takes away the phone, they're a teenager, maybe it's that follow-up and that conversation with the parents, like, hey, I need a way to communicate with them. Can I communicate through you to them during this time because of, their actions and they lost their phone or whatever, right, or for whatever reason? Is there another form of communication? So again, talking with the parent about that, because let's face it, whenever you employ a teenager,
you're employing the parent.
The parent, the family comes as a package with that. Yeah. So you need to make sure you're having that communication even with them.
And that was our solution. I asked the parents to download Homebase onto their phone and log in as their child. So now when the child gets the notification, their schedule's up, the parents also get it too. Or if we send a text message to the child, the parents get it too. Plus the fact that they're under 18, right? If there's a 15 or 17-year-old, the parents need to know what you're saying to the kid. You know what I mean? They should be fully aware and fully on board with every communication you're sending to their child. Just for your own safety and protection alone, you should have parents on board with all communications.
I had a problem with a younger student that their grades started slipping. And so, they got grounded until their grades come up. And then, that included working their shifts. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to have to let you go because I've got to have somebody that I know can come in and fill the shifts up. I says, understand it's not a reflection of your performance or anything. It's just you're not available to teach. I got to have someone who I can count. And the parent got upset. Well, how can you fire my child? I was like, listen, what would happen if all of a sudden your mom told you were grounded and you can't go to work for 2 weeks? Would you have a job anymore? I says, as a student, great student and everything, we love him. We hope you decide to continue training with us, which they didn't because mom got so mad.
No.
I said, but I'm trying to run a business here and understand I can't just every time you get mad at him and want to pull him out and ground him for 2 weeks, start, rearranging my schedule. I can't do that.
I find that funny because my mother would have sent me to work more. No, you go to school, you come home, you go to work because you're going to work, and then you come home, and that's it. Everything else is done. No video games, no play with your friends. Work you're doing, in school you're doing. That's your life.
So, it is more difficult when we're dealing with the under 18 crowd.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate what you pointed out there about, the parents should be informed about what everything is going on with their child if they're under 18. I don't think any other job does that.
No, I mean, I don't think, back when I was 14, 15, 16, my parents had no clue.
Yeah.
They just relied on me telling them what was going on.
I'm going to work today, Mom, and you're hanging out at your girlfriend's house or something.
Yeah. So that was definitely it. All right. Anything else you guys want to add? Because we are at 3:03. Well, that's my time anyway. We're at the end of the hour. Anything you guys want to add to this amazing discussion? This was I like this discussion. This is a fun one. This is a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I would start if you're in the process of building a team, or even if you already have a team, carve out time to sit down and do a one-on-one with them. Just a couple of minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes to really find out what they need and what they want and what their version of success is with their position now, where they're at now, and how you can support that for them. And I think that'll go a long way, because I think it always goes back to exactly what Brandon always tells us. He talks about it with leads and trials, but even with our team, you don't want just staff members, you want relationships.
I think don't try to build too big of a team too fast. Really focus on that small core, whether it's just you and one other person, whether it's you and 2 other people, and really train them up before you put them out. We were talking about 6 months worth of instructor training before you're ever allowed to step on the mat and even assist the class, to make sure that that's what they want to do. And I think you got to really your team has to be purpose driven. Why are you putting together a team? That's what I feel is the best but start small. I think we all go in there and, we invite everybody to be in the assistant instructor program, and all of a sudden you got these 20 people running around and you can't even track them and you can't give them good quality training.
Yeah.
So, and
they all want to come to the same class to teach.
Yeah.
One class, nobody, the other class, 20 instructors. Not helping.
No.
They all want to do that. No, awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much again. Thank you, James. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Marco.
Yes,
all right. This is Success Never Sleeps for Friday, September 9th. I don't think I gave the date at the beginning, 2022. Next week, Professor will be back, taking the lead again. So I'll be in the background supporting. We'll have another great discussion. We thank everybody for being on today, everybody for their comments. Master Raymore, thank you for all the great questions. You're a jewel, sir. We appreciate that. That was amazing. Helped to further the conversation. And like we said, check out the Disruptor page, everybody. There's a lot of great information there, including the year 1 instructor program. I still use it. We love it. We tweaked it a little bit here and there, but essentially what we do is what is there. So definitely go and find that document as well.
And where there's a community, so reach out for help if you need it. Reach out.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, so let's see. Master Raymond said he'll have more questions for the next one. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, so everybody go out there and what are we going to tell them to do, gang?
Go out there and live your best.
Live their best life. Thank you, guys.